Like a caterpillar that was asleep in its cocoon, I was about to be transformed, but I never suspected it at the time. It was summer 1976, and my wife Judy and I were living in Sarasota, Florida.
"Bill, come in here. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross is going to be on Donahue," she called from the living room.
I think I've heard her name. Who is she? What does she do? I asked from my office.
"She's the famous European doctor who works with people who are dying," Judy replied.
The answer didn't thrill me. Why would I want to watch an entire program on a subject that I didn't even want to think about? Formerly a stockbroker and a securities analyst who had worked for 2 Wall Street firms, I was an avowed materialist. My primary interests were the Dow Jones Industrials Average and earning money on investments. My beliefs about death and life after death could be summed up briefly. People are like flashlight batteries. When their juice runs out, you simply throw their bodies away. When you're dead, you're dead. Judy called again.
"Come on, Bill, the show's about to start. You don't want to miss Elizabeth. She's a really special person."
"Okay, I'll be there in a minute," I said, though I joined Judy with little enthusiasm. To my amazement, the program turned out to be one of the most engrossing hours of television I had ever seen. I learned that Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross is a world-renowned Swiss-born psychiatrist. Her pioneering work with the terminally ill was helping millions of Americans overcome their fear of death and dying. On this show, Elizabeth talked about the near-death experiences her patients had shared with her and of her belief in life after death. She spoke with such compassion, sincerity, and conviction about these issues that I was unexpectedly impressed. 2 weeks later, we watched the same program on another cable channel. This time I felt inspired to send Elizabeth a small donation to help her continue her humanitarian work. In a few weeks, a package arrived in the mail containing a letter and a set of audio tapes Elizabeth had recorded. Surprisingly, she invited me to attend her 5-day Life, Death, and Transition workshop, which was to be held in Florida early the next year. At first, I felt very flattered to receive her invitation, but I gradually became afraid of participating in such a workshop. Ever since my father had died in 1947 when I was only 8 years old, death had been a morbid and distasteful subject for me. Judy believed I had some unresolved issues concerning the death of my father. Though I denied it at the time, part of me realized this was probably true. I am an only child and had never talked about his death or expressed my feelings about my loss to anyone. Back then, the prevailing attitude was, "Big boys don't cry." In November, on the last day for the workshop registration, I called Elizabeth's office in Illinois to decline her offer. I was expecting to speak to someone on her staff, but it was snowing heavily in the Midwest that day, and her secretary had been unable to drive to work. Elizabeth answered the phone, and I recognized her voice immediately. I thanked her for the tapes, then quickly gave a phony excuse for why I couldn't attend her workshop. Elizabeth remembered me and listened attentively. Then she said in her charming German-Swiss accent,
"Bill, I feel you should be there."
There was something about the way she said those words that caused me to reply, "If you think so, I will." Feeling a mixture of curiosity and apprehension, I drove to the retreat center in North Palm Beach in February 1977. All my fears proved to be unfounded, for Elizabeth's workshop was really about life and living, not death and dying. 70 strangers rapidly bonded together and soon became a loving family. We supported one another while relating our stories of loss and pain, and we ate together, sang together, played together, and hugged each other freely. Remarkable emotional healings took place as we began to release our accumulated grief of a lifetime. The unconditional love we shared was so tangible that tears of sadness were replaced by tears of joy, and nearly everyone felt safe enough to reveal their innermost self. Though I didn't realize it at the time, the seeds for this book were being planted within me during Elizabeth's workshop. This process began in a group sharing session when Maggie, a nurse from Illinois, told us she was a bereaved mother. Her 15-year-old daughter, Joy, had been hit and killed by an automobile while she was out walking.